The philosophy of human supremacy is rooted in the belief that we're set apart from and entitled to dominate nature itself. This assumption is as common as it is unexamined, relegating much of its influence to the unconscious. This delusion of grandeur began roughly 10,000 years ago with the agricultural revolution, when we initially gained some control over the environment. We detached from nature and declared ourselves civilized. This worldview was further galvanized during the scientific revolution, in which we manufactured a heroic image of ourselves as rational and superior to everything else on the planet. The natural world became a fascinating array of mechanisms inhabited by automatons. Animals were considered incapable not only of thought and emotion, but even physical pain. We used the language of classification to craft a narrative of separation. Today, philosophies like eco-modernism and techno-managerialism continue the thread of anthropocentric separation. Without explaining exactly how, eco-modernists advocate for the decoupling of technological and economic development from environmental impacts. Their vision for the future of life on Earth denies the need for us to reconcile with the biosphere. Similarly, techno-managerialists assert that we can somehow manage nature through technology. Their worldview reduces ecological overshoot to an engineering problem. Natural disasters become failures in environmental management, and there is little acknowledgement of the need for us to scale back. As we bear witness to the sixth mass extinction, these socially constructed myths bypass a critical examination of our ecopathic trajectory. They offer a reassuring fiction that aligns with the capitalist imperative to acquire more and more while denying that there are limits to growth. They grant us permission to indulge in impulses which serve us poorly on this finite and overpopulated planet. The story tells us we just need to keep ceaselessly inventing new technological solutions to the problems our previous technological solutions have created. Human supremacy and its philosophical offshoots are incredibly hubristic because, although we are part of nature, we cannot artificially replicate the natural cycles in which even waste products are of biological value. When we consider how elegantly the biosphere generates perpetually beneficial throughput, it becomes obvious that human supremacy makes about as much sense as a river flowing backwards. On the other hand, we can foster a discourse of an ecological civilization in the humble service of all life. We can challenge the narratives of eco-modernism, techno-managerialism, and human supremacy by offering something better. We can cultivate ecocentric and biocentric values immediately in the way we communicate. For example, many of us involved in promoting animal protection use the term non-human animals. It recognizes the fact that we humans are animals, but it also creates separation. Animal kin would be a more inclusive descriptor of our fellow beings. It denotes positive regard and references the reality of evolution, thereby conveying the truth that we are all related. The normalization of expressions such as this could have a profound effect on how we see our fellow earthlings. The word body is also full of potential. We already refer to surface water, such as a lake or a river, as a body of water. The same could be applied to all geological phenomena. If we adopt expressions like Earth's body and trees' bodies instead of natural resources and forestry, we would habituate to an appropriately reverent attitude. This shift would help us to reify the universal principle that all bodies, geological, botanical, and zoological, deserve the right to thrive, evolve, and generally exist as autonomous beings. One particularly elegant word is symbiocene. It was coined by the environmental philosopher Glenn Albrecht to describe a post-anthropocentric era in which people live in a mutually beneficial relationship with the natural world. The values and viability of a symbiocene have already been demonstrated beautifully by indigenous cultures all over the world. There are many ways to express our kinship with everybody on this rich and unique planet. Watch and listen to the forces of nature and let them inspire you to speak in the language of life.